Hey, what is going on, everybody? This is me, Ben Cornett. I am here. This is a Benzone exclusive, and I just wanted to come on real quick. Obviously, the title to this episode is Baker Mayfield. He did resign with, or he's going to resign with the Bucks, according to Jeremy Fowler at ESPN. We just got the news that it's a 3-year deal, $100 million, $50 million guaranteed. With incentives, it'll come out to about 115 million in total. So not surprising. I figured, not only would Baker resign, but it would be kind of around that uh, range number wise. With the quarterback, with the money these days, this is actually a pretty decent deal. Not going to lie to you, this is a good deal compared to other deals quarterbacks have been getting that probably are not as good as Baker Mayfield. I mean, look at the Daniel Jones contract in New York right now. He's getting paid $40 million a year, and didn't have a good year last year. Geno Smith, same thing. Didn't play as well last year. So, to me, this deal that Baker's got is kind of a bargain, if you ask me, because if Baker were to hit the open market, somebody would probably overpay him, probably pay $40 million to get him. But the Bucks' goal all along has been to sign 4 guys. That's Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, he already signed. Antoine Winfield got tagged, but they will work on a deal, this summer, I assume. And then Levante David, who, they're going to try and get a deal done with that as well. So again, the numbers, 3 years, $100 million, $50 million guaranteed, with incentives, stuff like that, it comes out to about 115 million. So in total, with the total contract, I'm fine with it. Listen, the priority was getting Baker re-signed, and that's what the Bucks did. And again, I knew they would. Jason Light even said he may have to strain a little bit, but he got it done. And kudos to the front office for the Bucks. I do think Baker is your best option going forward. He's your immediate future. I don't think he's your long-term future, but 3 years, I mean, it's a good window because Mike Evans got 2 years, and so within those next 2 years, the Bucks have an opportunity to try and compete for a championship, and that's all you really want from your team. Anybody that's fans of their teams, that's all they want. It's an opportunity to try and win a championship. And the front office, I thought, did another really good job. Didn't overpay Baker, but didn't underpay him either. Baker Mayfield got what he wanted. It's $33 million a year, but he's getting $50 million guaranteed. So, hey, that's great. For both sides. Now, I'm sure Baker Mayfield probably would have liked to have gotten more money, but at the end of the day, I think it's fair for both sides. So, especially nowadays like I said, with the quarterback market being what it is, it's just going to go up. Prices are going to go up every year. The salary cap's going to get bigger. More money will be added to it. But, right now, this is a fair deal for both sides, in my opinion. And you do have kind of a limited window if you think about it, because Mike Evans is in his early 30s, but he's been in the league for over a decade. Depending on what Levante David does, how long does he have left? He did play at a high level last year. I'm sure the Bucks are coming up with a deal right now. It's going to be fair for both sides. I think at the end of the day, personally, they'll get a deal done, probably another 1-year deal, but with Levante, he probably, like Mike Evans, wants to retire a Buck. And I think that's only fair to both him and the Bucks organization. So again, this is just a Benzone exclusive. I just wanted to get on here for a little bit, talk about the breaking news that we just got a little bit ago. If you just came on, Baker Mayfield is going to re-sign with the Buccaneers, according to Jeremy Fowler on ESPN. It is a 3-year deal worth $100 million. It's a $50 million guaranteed, and with incentives, all that tied in together for the total deal of the contract, the max is $115 million. So, again, one more time, that's my opinion. Is I think it's a good deal for both sides. So, with that being said, I see some comments in the section here. Let's read them. Misador, thanks for tuning in, man. It all depends how they load it. If it's front loaded, I think that makes the most sense. Yeah, I agree. I gotta think it is Misador. We don't know the full details yet, but I know it's 50 million guaranteed. So it's half of about half of the 100 million to 115 million. That's based on the incentive. So yeah, it's half of that. So, but I think that's what they had to do. The Bucks, I should say, to get it done. Like I said a couple minutes ago, Jason Light did say they might have to strain a little bit. They might have to maybe go over a little bit, over what they want to pay, but that happens, and give kudos to Baker's agent. They set the bar high, but the Bucks, Baker and the agent talked about it, where they wanted to meet, what was the best solution for both sides, and this is what they came up with. So, kudos to both. Yeah. Christopher Cole, thanks for tuning in on YouTube. It's about 30 million a year or so. Okay. Yep. That's good. That's good. Misador averages 33.3 a year. The 50 million guaranteed is huge. Yeah. And that's probably what the big holdup was the guaranteed money. And it is in pretty much every contract for every player. It's all about that guaranteed money. And 50 million is a lot of money. So guaranteed. So you're at least tied to them for a couple of years, but it, again, depends on, like Misador just said, if it's front loaded, not if it's front loaded or back loaded. I'm assuming it's front loaded, because at the end of the day, you still gotta you have to do some restructuring of some deals, and then because you got to re-sign Antoine Winfield, which I assume they're going to do this summer. And also Tristan Wirfs is coming up, so that you got to think about that as well. But the salary cap does go up every year, but also players will ask for more money with the salary cap going up every year. With Tristan Wirfs, I mean, we're not down that road yet, but he's not going anywhere. The Bucks will do everything they can to pay this man and keep him in Tampa. They did that with Mike Evans. That's not going to change with Tristan Wirfs, but we'll get to that when the time comes. But yeah, so again, this is a Benzone exclusive. I know it's Bucks football talk, but it's also NFL talk. So it's not just a Bucks, show, but also a NFL show. I just want to clarify that, because if you've seen the video, it says Mayfield resigns Bucks. I know I talk about other stuff, but I thought this was very important, not just for the Bucks. Obviously, it's very important, but for the NFL in general. So, with that being said, now there's 2 quarterbacks out there that are looking for places to go next year. That's Russell Wilson and Kirk Cousins. So, I could see Kirk Cousins maybe go to Atlanta. Just found this little tidbit that Kirk Cousins' wife is from Atlanta. So, connect the dots. So, Misador says Ray Kennedy is crying right now. Just give Kyle a fair shot. Yeah, hey, props out to Mr. Ray, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, I should say. He's the original Ray in Tampa. Shout out to Ray Kennedy. no, Trask isn't the guy. And listen, I'm not dumping on Kyle Trask. It's not a time to do that. But the Bucks did not want to go to door number 2, as Jason Light elegantly put out there during a recent interview. They wanted to make sure to stay at door number 1, and so they don't have to go to door number 2. Again, this Bucks team right now, you're in a division where it's winnable. It was winnable last year. They were 9-8. Atlanta's on the come up. They're got a new coach, Raheem Morris, former Bucks head coach. They got a solid team. I think coaching was one of the main issues last year for Atlanta. The Saints are doing a lot of restructuring. They just let Michael Thomas go. They're restructured Cam Jordan's contract, Derek Carr's contract, and they're still in cap hell. So I don't know how they're going to compete. But every time I say that, the Saints somehow find a way to. They almost won the division this past year. So, but in Carolina, they're Carolina. Dave Canales, he's got a lot of work to do there, so it's going to take a while. But anyway, the Bucks, that division is winnable. And the Bucks know that, so they're going to re-sign their core guys, and they feel that not only can they win their division, but in an NFC that it's not nearly as strong as the AFC. Keep in mind they were a few minutes away from going to the NFC Championship game last year, and they were close. So it makes a lot of sense to bring all these guys back, and if you go with Kyle Trask, I don't think you're going to do as well, in my opinion, because he's not played much. Number 2, the Bucks hired an OC and Liam Cohen that is familiar with the offense we ran last year, and Kyle Trask, honestly, I don't think fits that offense. So the Bucks' priority was to get Baker Mayfield back and make another run at this for the next at least 2 years. So again, kudos to the front office. They did a really good job of coming up with these contracts and, at fair deals and to where it's not going to hurt them too much cap-wise. So, yeah, give the front office credit again. They did a really good job. See, Chris Cole, it's actually 2 years, $60 million. Yeah. And then I got some Facebook users. I got to read the who is the Facebook user saying, I find that deal Baker Mayfield, $100 million, $50 million guaranteed, that an NFC South division win and a playoffs win deal. That's Corey Brown. Thanks, Corey, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Yeah. We won a division last year. I've done it 3 years in a row and have a good chance now to win it 4 years in a row. We got our quarterback and our top wide receiver back. You also got Chris Godwin. Got to see what Rashad White can do in his third year. So this and the offensive line probably needs some improvement, but hopefully it gets better and this team gets back on track. Corey Brown says Devin White, no deal. Awful season. Yeah. Devin White's pretty much gone. He's not coming back. Bucks haven't really made any mention about it. So, yeah, he's gone. And for good reason. He did not perform like he should have. He didn't earn himself a brand new contract here in Tampa. And listen, I think a change of scenery might be good for Devin White. Might go to a team that he could be used better. I'm not saying he wasn't used well when he was with the Bucks, but whatever happened, his play just fell flat. And I think he was not too happy when he made that last offseason when he said he wanted to be a $100 million linebacker. He wanted that contract, but the Bucks weren't going to do it, and rightfully so. Probably couldn't do it anyway. So Devin White wasn't happy about it, and it really showed in his play this year. There were moments where he had a few good games. He made some key tackles, made some key stops. uh, in certain games, but then there were other games where he didn't show up. The worst one was probably the Colts, where Gardner Minshew outshook him to get to the end zone for a touchdown. And that was both funny and embarrassing at the same time. But besides that play, I mean, you just didn't get the Devin White you got from 2019 and 2020. After that Super Bowl year, things just went downhill ever since. So he's not coming back, but we got Yaya Diaby, who's coming on strong, and Cam Gill. You got to see what those guys can do, and the Bucs will be okay. They'll be okay at the linebacker spot. They'll probably have to draft another one, but that's fine. Russell Gage probably cut Monday or Tuesday, most likely. Yep, that's Corey Brown. Sierra Love, Russell Wilson play for New York Giants. It's Corey again. Yeah, he had talks with the Giants. He's going to have talks with the Steelers. Where does Russell Wilson go? I think the Steelers would be a great fit. They got a great offensive line. Got Najee Harris, the running back position. It's a good organization, and he's going to take the veterans minimum pay. The Broncos still owe him $80 million, so it's not going to be so much about money. It's just going to be about fit, and I think Russell Wilson would be a solid fit in Pittsburgh. Won't have to do as much. He's been struggling the last couple of years. Not all on him, but again, like Devin White, and change of scenery would be very nice. I think Sean Payton wants his own quarterback, so Russell Wilson didn't fit that criteria for Mr. Payton. So I think Russell takes the quarterback job in Pittsburgh. That's my prediction. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm predicting. Let's see. Wirfs and David up next. That's Blackie Wallace. Thank you, Blackie, for tuning in, man. How you doing? Well, David's going to be first. And Wirfs, they're going to take time on that. He's still here this year, so maybe next offseason they work on that deal and lock him up for several more years. But yeah, those are Wirfs and David are priority. So, man. And Misador says, imagine if the Bucs would have drafted someone to do more than to hold a clipboard in the second round of that draft. Yeah. Well, Misador, I mean, I also think it was timing. When Kyle Trask, got drafted, it was 2021. And at the end of the 2022 season, Tom Brady, for the first time, announced his retirement. In early 2022. But 45 days later, Tom Brady makes an announcement that he's coming back. Now, depending on who you want to believe, reports are saying that with Brady's first retirement, that lasted 45 days, that they were looking at Kyle Trask to take over. And then Brady said he wanted to come back, and he did, which really didn't turn out so well, despite still making the playoffs. But I think timing had a lot to do with Trask not being a starter for the Bucs. So that's part of it. But again, I assume he's going to be the backup this year. He knows the system. So they went with Baker, and I said this before the start of the 2023 season that when they brought Baker Mayfield in, and people said, well, it was a competition and everything. To me, that was BS. It was not a competition. It was, Baker was going to be the guy regardless. And the Bucs just didn't feel comfortable with Kyle Trask being their starter, especially when they felt like this team could still win a division and go further in the playoffs. And that's what the Bucs, the front office, coach Todd Bowles thought that Baker was a better option. they just had to say it was a quarterback competition just to say it. But my point anyway with Kyle Trask, it's just more. Some of it's bad timing, but at the end of the day, he's probably not the long-term answer. It's unfortunate for Kyle Trask, but it's a business. It is what it is, and Bucks right now feel more comfortable with Baker Mayfield. And as it showed last year, Baker Mayfield played great. Was he the best quarterback in the league? No, but still 28 touchdowns, 10 picks. I know I keep bragging about this, 158.3 passer rating at Lambeau Field, the only guy to ever do it. I know I keep bragging about it, but I think that's a very cool stat. How many more quarterbacks can say they had 158.3 quarterback rating in Lambeau Field? And Baker Mayfield can say that. So, but yeah, he's the guy now, and he's going to be the guy here for the next couple of years at least. So, sorry for all the Trask fans out there who, felt like, oh, come on, man. I don't know. Just sorry, but Baker Mayfield's the guy. Corey Brown says, I see Devin White going to the Texans. I could see that. I could see the Cowboys. There'll be some teams that want him. They'll probably give him a decent deal. So, like I said, good luck to Devin White. Thank you for your time here in Tampa, but we're turning the page, and so is Devin White. Ray Kennedy, thanks for tuning in, man. How you doing, Mr. Cup of Ray? Jason Light works like a solvent leader and sell the Kool-Aid. The Buccaneers Kool-Aid that was made by Tampa Bay legends. They lock up a number one overall who's done nothing short of play number one overall ball and is team friendly and keeps more dogs. If Light and McKay were still a tie, Light just took number one legend status. Wow. I gotta say, they're probably 1A and 1B. Light early on in his career, I think, struggled, with drafting and everything. But, I think you can thank Bruce Arians for actually coming in and helping Jason Light. Bruce Arians is a great football mind. And, once Arians came in, the drafting went better. The free agent signings came. And obviously, Jason Light can say he is one of the guys that brought in Tom Brady. So, that right there is legendary status itself. When you're able to sign the GOAT, it puts you up there. So, and I've been critical of Jason Light, and a lot of it he deserves, but he also deserves a lot of the praise. And lately he's been doing a very good job. Him and Greenberg and Spytek, that front office deserves a lot of kudos, and no different here. Getting Baker back, getting Mike Evans back, tagging Winfield, but you're going to come to terms with the deal, down the line, so that tag will probably be taken off probably sooner than later. So, and then now you got to get Levante back, which I pretty much assume is going to happen. I don't see the Bucs letting him go. Again, just comes down to years and money, and it'll probably be another 1-year deal, but that's okay. I'm sure Levante's cool with that, and he's going to continue to play well. He did last year, and we'll have all those guys back. So, I'm pretty confident in that. Facebook user, that would be Corey Brown. I think Bucks going loaded up defensive back secondary did not look good last season. That's why I trade Carlton Davis, save cap money, reload up backfield. Yeah, there was a report today coming out that I think it was Joe Bucks fan that said that Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean are available for a trade. Now, will they get traded? I don't know. They said they're not just going to shop them, but that the Bucks are willing to listen. And if anything comes up to where the Bucks are like, okay, maybe we could do that, then they might do it. But we'll see. Again, if they do it, the Bucks are going to want quite a bit in return. They're not just going to trade away these two guys. Probably going to be a little harder for for both guys because they've been injury prone. So teams may not give up a lot to get them, because again, the injuries, to both guys. And, I don't think they're bad, but they're not great either. And, Carlton Davis did not play well last year. Jamel Dean was hurt a lot. Davis missed some games. I've heard some of it was scheme stuff. They're more man-to-man coverage guys, which is true. But at the same time, whatever scheme you're in, you should play well, especially for the money you're making. So can't always be just the scheme that's the issue. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if they trade one of those guys, or I don't see them trading both. But I don't know if they're going to trade one of those guys either. So we'll just have to wait and see. But they, according to Joe Bucksman, that they were available to be shopped. That doesn't mean they will be, but it's a report saying they are available to be shopped. So we'll see what happens. Trade Kyle Trask, cheap trade. Nah, I don't think they'll trade him. They're just gonna keep him for another year, then he'll be a free agent. So I don't know if the Bucks will resign him or not, but for this year he's here, so they're just gonna go from there and see what happens. Trade Kyle Trask later round, draft picks 6 and 7. I don't know, Corey. I mean, again, I don't think they're going to do that just because Trask is familiar with the system. He's, and if Baker does get hurt, then what happens? So you gotta think more along those lines, that you got to have a viable backup. And although he hasn't played much, Trask does know the system. He, has been in Tampa since 2021. So, they want to keep a backup and somebody familiar with this team. So I don't see Kyle Trask getting traded. Just my opinion. Jamel Dean played really good game versus Eagles, playoffs, then Carlton Davis. Yeah. Dean, he played pretty good, but again, it wasn't consistent. And also Jamel Dean got hurt, too much. He missed some games. I think he missed like 4 or 5 games this year. It's, it's a third of the season. And when you can't rely on those guys, it makes it harder, for our defense. And again, they're not bad corners, but for the money they're making right now, they got to play better than what they've shown, and they got to be healthy too. So that's the key. Oh man. So yeah, if anyone is just tuned in, this is a Benzone exclusive. This isn't a Have At It or other shows I do. By the way, I want to apologize for not being on Have At It this past Friday. Just had stuff going on, so I wasn't available to do a show, but should be available this Friday night to do a Have At It, and we'll discuss this. And we'll probably discuss a lot of other free agent signings, because tomorrow, March 11th, is the first day for free agents to talk to other teams. So that's another good thing about the deal with the Bucks, is that they were able to get this done before Baker Mayfield hit the free agent market. And I think that was the goal for Jason Light in the front office, is to get Baker signed so that way he doesn't get out there where other teams could possibly, and very good possibility that they could give a better offer and more money, more guaranteed money. So yeah, kudos to the front office for the Bucks to re-sign Baker Mayfield. They pretty much accomplished their goals for the offseason as far as signing their players back. That was a big goal for Jason Light in general, was to re-sign their players first, not go big game hunting, and get that done and then go from there. Then they had to make some cuts, obviously. Shaq Barrett was let go. That was a financial cut. It's unfortunate, but it's part of the business. There'll be more cuts, like Corey mentioned in the comment section. Russell Gage, he'll probably be gone, and well, I shouldn't say probably. I think he's pretty much gone anyway. He hasn't been able to stay healthy, so with the money Bucks were giving him, it makes a lot of sense. So they'll cut Russell Gage because they still got to make some cuts, do some restructures to not only fulfill that Baker contract, but also trying to get Antoine Winfield re-signed. Also, you got to keep money in there for the players you draft. So, yeah, it's quite a busy offseason for the Bucks. But again, they accomplished pretty much all their goals was to re-sign their own players. Levante David's still negotiating. The Bucks, I'm sure they're talking to his agent and probably will get a deal done pretty soon. So I'm not really worried about that. I don't see Levante going anywhere. Again, you never know, but I pretty much feel like this is the only team he's going to play for, that he wants to play for. So they'll find a way to get a deal done. And yeah, that's pretty good stuff right there. So good day as a Bucks fan. It's a really good day. Confident, absolutely. Again, I knew it would pretty much happen. Baker would resign. Got to the 11th hour, but 3 years, $100 million. That's what I predicted. I said that on the NFL edition every Thursday nights with Alex Loosemore. I said 3 years, $100 million, around that deal. I called in on the Sports Web, Peter Blake. I said the same thing. Shout out to Peter Blake and these guys, Sports Web, Leo Haggerty, do a great job. I said around the 3-year, $100 million range. So, yeah. And I think that's fair for both sides. I really do. I'm sure Baker wanted more money, but, still $50 million guaranteed. It's a pretty good chunk of change right there. So he'll at least get $50 million out of that. And should he play well, he'll, get even more in bonuses and incentives. So, and that's how the Bucks operate. They're not going to overpay. They're not going to underpay. But if you meet your bonus, your incentives, you'll get more money. So, and that's how it should work. The teams play hard, you play well, you get paid better. So, those incentives are very important. And, again, they're not going to overpay or underpay. And that's a good front office there. You got to give them respect for that. So, that's why the Bucks have been able to be successful like they have. Taking care of their own, drafting well, and paying them fair contracts that will, help not only the team but down the line help a Baker Mayfield who last year made $4 million but got $8 million with the incentives, making the playoffs. And look what happened. He got a huge payday. So, it just shows that this organization is going to make you earn it. They're going to give you a chance. They gave Baker a chance, and Baker Mayfield made the most of it. And now he's going to be a Buccaneer at least for a couple more years. So, it's a win-win for both sides, and it's great to see. And that's what you want as not just a Bucks fan, but just a fan in general of your teams. You want to be competitive each and every year and give yourself that opportunity. And, the front office, they'll do their part as long as, players do their part. So it's a team, teamwork makes the dream work. So now the Bucks are going to once again bring back the same team pretty much. And, they'll bring in some players, they'll draft some players. May look a little different, but, they're still going to be a pretty good team. And, I expect them to win the division again. And, have a nice run in the postseason. Obviously the goal is going to be a Super Bowl, but we'll see what happens. And I'm very excited about that. Let's see. Corey says Lightning played better last night. Tampa Bay Lightning, yep. They're still in the playoff hunt right now. My Golden Knights won finally last night, beat the Detroit Red Wings. They finally got off the the losing snide. Scott Thaler, thanks for tuning in, bud. No matter what, you won't beat the 49ers or the Rams. Yeah, we'll see about that. Scott, thank you for tuning in. Scott will love Devin White to the Rams. Okay. Yeah. Hey, could happen. Could happen. Rams overpay every year. That's Corey Brown. Corey again. Derek Carr overpaid by Saints. No talent. Yeah, I mean, I live here in Vegas. Seen Derek Carr play. I think he's a bit overrated myself. Didn't play his best football last year. And, he's hit or miss. Just too much inconsistency. And, it's going to be interesting to see what the Saints do. They just let go Michael Thomas. But, again, he wasn't even available half the season anyway. Wasn't even available for the past few seasons. So I don't know how big a loss that is anyway. It's good financially for them. They need to get under that cap. They're still way over, so we'll see what they do. But I'm not too worried about the Saints. Scott Taylor, Corey, your team plays in a weak division. I don't know. This year might not be. And speaking of our division, Zagnif Productions. Thanks, Zagnif, for tuning in. How you doing, sir? It's a good day to you, Mr. Cornett. Very good day to you, Mr. Zagnif Productions. By the way, check them out. I know I'm not sponsored by them, but I'll give them a plug real quick. Zagnif Clothing. Check them out. Go to their website. Zagnif. I believe it's zagnif.com. If you can help me out there, Mr. Handy. I just wanted to give you a nice little plug. I got a beanie hat from them, so very comfortable. I wear it every now and then when it's cold outside, and it looks good on me too. So thank you, Mr. Zagnif, for tuning in. Man, I got another comment. Bucks did a win playoff game, but Rams did not win no playoff games. Okay, Corey Brown. Yep, we did win. Okay. I apologize, Mr. Handy. The clothing shop is temporarily closed. I am very sorry about that, Mr. Handy. My bad. Should have asked you first. But I thought you guys were still. I just wanted to give you a plug, but okay. Andy says restructuring and relaunching in the summer. Okay, cool. All right, man. No, all good, man. I'm glad you guys are relaunching. That's cool stuff, and we will plug you when you guys got the relaunch going. Again, good stuff from them. Check them out. They also sponsored the NFL edition, so the show I do with Alex Loosemore every Thursday nights. Facebook user Corey Brown says 18 games and 19 weeks. Yes, that's been discussed as well. I don't know how I feel about that. As much as I love the NFL and love football, comes a point where you don't want to oversaturate the product, and the NFL's got to be careful there. I think 17 games is good. I think it's good right there. Because if you do 18 games, now you're in a position where you're only going to do like 2 preseason games. And this has got to be approved by the NFLPA too. Do they want to play that many games? And, you also have even bigger risk for injuries. So I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing to have an additional game. I think 17's the sweet spot, and I don't think they should do any more than that. because you also got to have time to develop. In the preseason, you got guys that that are trying to make teams. They need more reps. So for me, I prefer to have it where it is now: 17 games, 3 preseason games. Just don't oversaturate the product. That's all I'm saying. So, and Zagnif says, and speaking of this, that 18-game proposal is strictly to compete against the college football playoff. The league has already irked that the 12-team playoff is now going to eat slightly into airtime for the NFL playoffs. Yeah, I mean, it could, but, I think the casual American football fan still watches the NFL more than college. Um, the NFL does such a great job of marketing Zagnif that I don't think that's too big a concern. Now, sure, there's always a risk, you know, but again, I just 18 games is a lot. You'd have to go into a situation where you might have to have two bye weeks. You're going to have to do that. To have 18 games with only one bye week, I just can't see them doing that. That's just way too much. Again, you have to think about the players. They're risking their health by playing these extra games. And also, again, the oversaturating of a product. You don't want to oversaturate it. You got such a great thing going right now. You're building you've built a great product the last 10, 15 years. You got streaming deals now, international deals. You're playing in Germany now, not just England. You're going to be back in Mexico this year. You're going to play a game in Brazil opening week on a Friday. So you don't want to start oversaturating. You want to be strategic, and I just don't think 18 games is necessarily good from a player standpoint and a product standpoint. But again, that's just my opinion. Others may disagree, and that's fine. But right now, I like it where it's at: 17 games, 3 preseason games. Just do it that way and go from there. But good question, good answer, Zagnif. Scott Taylor, go Mizzou, go Missouri. And I agree, too much NFL is not a good thing. Yeah, as much as I love it, you don't want to oversaturate it. You don't want it to be 24/7. That's why you have an NFL network. But for me, I like other things too. The NFL's not just my only thing I watch. Love my college football, love my other stuff, my other sports, my other social media stuff, my streaming services, Netflix, stuff like that. So 18 games, the Chargers will have to get their own stadium. Yeah, they're sharing one now with the Rams. Surprise Baker is back. That's Eric Hardnett. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Eric, for tuning in. Appreciate it. How you doing today, sir? Thank you. Surprise Baker's back. I'm not. I felt the Bucks wanted him back. They were going to get him back. They're going to get to a number where Baker would ultimately meet them at that point, and that's what they did. So, and I think Baker wanted to come back too. I think he wanted to get paid, but at the same time, he wanted to come back to Tampa. He knows that this is a good team. And they're going to get better. He had input on who the OC was going to be. So the goal was to get him back, and I didn't see the Baker or the Bucks were just going to not resume the marriage, so to speak. So, yeah. Zagnif says, we get all NFL all the time from OTAs all the way through the draft. Yeah, there's no off season, Anthony. That's a good point. There's no off season. You've got the combine, the free agency. The NFL is doing fine. They dominate the sports here in America. I always said the NFL, they own 3 days of the week: Monday, Sunday, Thursday. Their baseball used to be America's pastime, but it's been football the NFL the last 15, 20 years. So they own it, and they're growing the fan base. So, yeah. And let's see, Eric, what's next for the Bucks now? Hold on one sec. Mouth is dry. Probably resign Levante. That's priority. Also, forgot to mention this, Chase McLaughlin. They're going to try and get him re-signed, their kicker. I assume those will be the top priorities next for the Bucks. And as far as draft, probably have to look at another linebacker, maybe another corner, another tackle on the Bucks offensive line. So probably not the best draft for offensive tackles, because we're picking 26th. The guy from Oregon, I forget his name right off the bat. He has 2 last names. Powers Johnson, I think it is. Powers Jackson. Supposed to be one of those top guys, along with John Alt, Notre Dame. But they're probably going to be taken way before the Bucks get the pick, unless they want to trade up for one, but I don't see them doing that. So I don't know, but they could use another tackle on the line. Probably another linebacker, maybe another defensive end, and probably a defensive back player. So that's probably what's going to be next for the Bucks. Chargers should move to Las Vegas with the Raiders. Corey Brown. That's not going to happen. KC Chiefs a three-peat. A Rams fan thinks that Chiefs are going to three-peat. We'll see. They did sign Chris Jones. Chiefs did last night. 5 years. He's getting $95 million guaranteed. So that was a big signing for the Chiefs. Big return for them. So, but we'll see what happens. See if the Chiefs can three-peat. They should move to St. Louis. Chargers, I assume. Yeah, I wish there was a team in St. Louis, Scott. I think it's definitely an NFL type city, but unfortunately, the city didn't want to build a stadium. So, and plus they wanted to get a team in LA. So they were willing to do it. Stan Kroenke wanted a team. He owns the Rams. Wanted a team in LA, and that's what he got. So it's unfortunate for the Rams, or for the city of St. Louis, but it is what it is. Football overtook baseball right after the great steroid home run race. After that, it was a wrap. I agree. Zagnif. Eric says, who Bucks get now? Target safety or running back, free agency or defense end? Yeah. Along those lines, yeah. Like I said. Whitehead in free agency. Yeah, there's been talk about bringing back Jordan Whitehead. He's a free agent. It's possible. I mean, I wouldn't rule it out. Probably have to, again, get a little more money to, salary cap rise to make those kind of signings. But you never know. He could return. And, along with Antoine Winfield, he, be a good defensive backfield. Let's see. Corey Brown says Jason Light contract also expires 2025. Yeah, but he'll probably resign. So I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Unless the Bucks really collapse these next couple of years, I think Jason Light will be back. Zagnif says that was a great summer though. Sosa versus McGuire. Yeah. Yeah, and and I know this isn't about football, but it saved baseball. The whole Sosa McGuire thing, the home run chase, that's saved baseball in my opinion. Because remember, 94 strike, was devastating. And, it took a long time for the fans to come back. And some could argue that it's never been the same since. And they haven't had near the appeal that it did in the, before 94. So, yeah. And again, it did that temporarily, but, at the same time, baseball's kind of hypocritical. Like, you don't want these guys in the Hall of Fame, but yet it was okay to allow it, to save baseball. So it is hypocritical, but I still love the game, and you know, hopefully baseball gets back on track. You know, I think they need a salary cap, but I'm a Dodger fan, so I can't really talk shit because Otani and Yamamoto signed for these big deals, and although that's on the back end after the 10 years, but it is what it is. Baseball is baseball, and no salary cap means big, big money deals. So, yeah. Eric says, any big names get free agency? Well, as far as the NFL, I mean, right now, I can say from a quarterback standpoint, Russell Wilson's out there along with Kirk Cousins. My predictions: Russell's going to sign with the Steelers. Kirk Cousins might sign with Atlanta. Saquon Barkley, as far as running backs, he's out there. Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, from a running back's perspective. So I don't know. We'll see where they land. Barkley, I think, could be a Charger or a Texan. I think one of those three guys are going to go to the Houston Texans. They got the money to do it, so why not give C.J. Stroud another weapon to help him out? Because Pierce didn't do much last year for him. They could improve on that running game. Corey says Lightning 3 repeat Stanley Cup Finals, make it 3 straight dynasty. Yeah. Okay. Could get Barkley or Henny. Talking about the Bucks. Yeah, if they're really cheap, I don't see the Bucks going after either of those guys unless it's kind of a veterans minimum. But who knows? Maybe a guy like Derrick Henry will take one. I know Barkley won't, or Josh Jacobs, but maybe a Derrick Henry does. That'd be interesting. Bucks cheaper drafts a running back than free agent. That's Corey Brown. Zagnif says, if it did save baseball, over 140 hours between two players was insane. Irony, Bonds only hit 36 home runs that year. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, and I agree. It did save baseball. And yet the, baseball, the writers, the Hall of Fame writers, don't look at it that way and want to keep them out. To me, it's hypocritical, but it is what it is. Corey Brown says MLB commercial should have been fired 5 years ago, not re-signed. Okay. And Zagnif says, speaking of running backs, it makes me sad how little running backs are valued now. Hoping they don't go the way of the fullback position. Yeah, that's a good point. It's unfortunate, Zagnif. Running backs are valuable. I mean, they still play a very important part. They're just not the way the NFL is now, the passing league. The tight ends are replacing the running backs. They already have, really. Look what it did for the Giants 2 years ago when Barkley pretty much was their offense, and that led them to the playoffs in 2022. So, a running game is very important. The Lions, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. Shout out to Alex Loosemore, good friend of ours. The Lions, look how great they played this year. The running back's still a valuable position. Just financially, they don't get nearly as compensated as they used to. So it's unfortunate, but it is the way it is. But I do agree with you. The running backs, are really devalued now, and they shouldn't be. So, and Corey says Rays better than Yankees over the years. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens this year. I'm excited for baseball coming up. Be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully, my Dodgers can back it up with the big money they spent and try and win a World Series. The Rays, I mean, let's see what happens with them. I think they're in the Dominican Republic this week to play some games. So kind of ironic since their former Dominican Republic player, Mr. Franco, is there. But we won't talk about him. That's a very sensitive subject to Rays fans. Zagnef, C-Mac, and Debo out in San Francisco. Is that true, or is that you think they'll be out? That'll be interesting. Corey says, let's hope hangover season for the Lions. I don't know. You never know, but I think the Lions are still going to be a very good team next year. They're going to be the favorites to win their division again. I do think the Packers are getting better. Vikings, who knows? Bears, who knows? But the Bears, by the way, did sign Kevin Byard, the corner from Philly this year. So, yeah. Oh, okay, Zagnef. I see what you're saying. I was just referencing some other running backs that are valuable to their franchises. Yeah, very, very valuable. Yeah, absolutely. That's correct. The Niners would not be where they are without Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. So there's still a lot of value there. And again, it's too bad that they are too devalued these days. I hope Bucks versus Lions week 1 open season. Yeah. Lions would be, I think they're in Detroit this year. So that'd be interesting. That would be interesting. We'd love this for that game to be the first this season, the rematch from last year. We unfortunately lost both games to them. But different year. We'll see how it works. Took me a second. Thought you said daughters, not Dodgers. Yeah. I think we're talking about Scott. We're not talking about Scott Taylor here, are we? In the off the rails combo. By the way, Scott has a thing for Millie Bobby Brown. If he's still watching, sorry, Scott, I outed you there. Zagnef, I was about to say, laugh my ass off. Yes. Scott Taylor says, "Go Rams." Yeah, go Rams. Go Rams. Go Bucks. Whoever your team is, go whoever. Holy shit! I've been on here for almost an hour now. Holy crap! Wow, guys, I got 6 viewers still. Incredible! Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. This is just breaking news. Mayfield resigns with the Bucks, and I've been on here an hour, just blah 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 with you guys. Let's see. Corey says Orlando Magic NBA Final Championship 2024. Yeah, Magic have been playing really well this year. They've been really good surprise. It's good to see the Magic, being back in the NBA front line. They've been just down and out the last several years. Hopefully they've gotten it right, and hopefully we can see more consistency with this team every year. It's always good to see these teams back in the playoff picture. Orlando, Sacramento came back last year, so yeah, hopefully for the Magic they keep this up for years to come. So yeah, be interested to see what they do down the stretch. Zagnef says, "Go Falcons and take the Hawks with you." Yeah, the Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, it's tough. You got Trae Young. But I don't know. The Hawks are still the Hawks. Haven't been the Hawks since the Dominique Spud Webb days. So tells you how old I am and tells you how gray I am too. So Scott Taylor, we love you, Ben, even though you outed me. Watch Damsel on Netflix. Yeah, I will watch that. Hopefully, I watch it in the next couple days. I am looking forward to that movie. Um, not just because of Millie Bobby Brown. I know she's the star, but you know, still should be pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Just got done watching. Well, before I came on here, we had the South Carolina LSU SEC women's tournament final that broke out into a fight late in the game. I hate seeing that. You don't want to see anybody, do that stuff. But very interesting. LSU only had 5 players left after the ejections and stuff. So, but South Carolina won. They won their conference title. They're undefeated, and they look to be a team that could win another national championship. For Don Staley, they've just done a great job with that program. You know, Las Vegas Aces, Aja Wilson, South Carolina. So, they've had a great basketball program for the last several years, and they're going to continue to do so. So, I don't know. It should be a very fun women's tournament this year. I'm looking forward to it. South Carolina, see if they stay undefeated, have an undefeated season. Good chance they will. We all know the story with Iowa, Caitlin Clark. They won their conference title today, so it's going to be a fun March, man. This is my time of year, not just the women's tournament, but the men's as well. So, I'm looking forward to it. March Madness, it's coming up. It's here. Yeah, I am ready. Zagnif says not only is Scott an MBB fan, he's also a huge fan of The Bachelor. Yes, The Bachelor, Farmer's Got a Wife. I mean, Scott, he's keeping up with the current shows. So, good for him. I've never seen Farmer Wants a Wife. I don't know. If you're fans of it, great. That's cool. But Scott seems to love it, so it's all that matters. Whatever you like, you like. Hey. And The Bachelor, I don't watch The Bachelor, so sad that I'm still a bachelor and they haven't asked me to do my own show. But what would they want with a 43-year-old with gray beard and a little bit on the chubby side? So, Scott Taylor, great show, Ben. Even though Corey Brown always gives me grief, Corey, he always likes to be funny, and we appreciate you and Corey, Scott. Appreciate everybody who watches this show, whether it's Have At It, Face the Heels, wrestling show, whatever show I do, Benzone, or you can catch me on other shows like the NFL edition every Thursday nights with Alex Loosemore, some other guests that we have on there. Always love having fun there. Yeah, so I still hate Barbie. Okay. I thought the Barbie movie was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the Barbie movie. And speaking of, by the way, tonight, about 30 minutes from now, the Oscars are going to be on ABC. They're doing the red carpet thing right now. I'm not really an awards show fan, but should be a good Oscars tonight. I know Barbie's probably going to have hundreds of nominations, as well as like Flowers of the Killer Moon, stuff like that. So if you're an Oscars fan, get ready, get the popcorn ready. It should be a pretty interesting show. Jimmy Kimmel's going to host that, so he does a pretty good job there. Sadonaut, did I say it right? Sadonaut from YouTube says building the Baconeers and win the Super Bowl. Yes. Well, thank you, Sadonaut, for tuning in. Appreciate that on YouTube. Yes, the Baconeers. The Baconeers. It's going to be a fun year. Just glad we got all the guys re-signed again. That was the priority for Jason Light and the Bucks, was to get Evans, Mayfield, Winfield. Still got to sign Levante, but I assume that's going to happen in the next week or so. I'm not really worried about that, and Chase McLaughlin as well. So, and then maybe they'll add in a couple small pieces, at decent prices, because again, the priority was to put the majority of the money with Evans, Winfield, and Baker Mayfield. So we'll see how it turns out. Yes, the heart and thumbs up emoji. Again, Sadanat, thank you for that. Sadanat says, in Baker we trust. Yep. And we're going to have to. He's our quarterback, and he did some great things last year, and hopefully he continues that trend, and the trajectory keeps moving upwards for this Buccaneers team. So, and go Bucks, absolutely. Sadanat, thank you. Oh man, what am I on? Hour and 7 minutes. Damn. I thought I was going to be on for like 15, 20 minutes. Man, I'm getting a lot of views, man. This is nice. Thank you again, guys and ladies out there. Appreciate that. On YouTube, you're watching it on Ben Cornett 9015. That's my YouTube channel. I'm on X at BennyBoy702. If you're an Instagrammer, I am at Ben702 forever. Like I said, please give me a like, give me a follow. That's be greatly appreciated. So, I love being on here with you guys. Even when it's a out of nowhere type of show. This is just a Benzone exclusive. For those who don't know, you may be watching on YouTube. The Benzone is a Facebook group. If anybody wants to join the Facebook group, let me know. The Benzone Facebook group, just put in Benzone, and we just do sports, entertainment, pop culture. We try not to do any politics or religion stuff. We kind of just keep that out of there. That's personal stuff, and with things being the way they've been the last week or so with the politics, yeah, there's just too much of that. I want to stay away from it. And Ray Kennedy says, Ben, are you still live? Yes, Ray, I am. I am still live, buddy. And I know you had a great show Friday night out there. Hopefully you didn't get copyrighted with the band playing. So, shout out to Mr. Ray Kennedy. He does a great job. He's got a show called Cup of Ray. You can catch that. I always put in the Benzone. Does a great job. He's the original Tampa Bay Ray. I know the Rays are a baseball team there, but the original Tampa Bay Ray is Ray Kennedy. So him and Peter Blake do a great job. Harry Berg, all those guys. Shout out to them on the sports web. You are all right. If you hadn't already, you just achieved legendary status. Well, I appreciate that, Ray, but come on, who am I? I mean, I'm just another guy in Las Vegas doing a show. Yeah. This 3 becomes a 5 after 2 if Baker keeps baking. Yeah, that's the goal. We got to have Baker keep baking. So I cannot wait. Zagna says, "What's up, Ray? It's been a minute." Yeah, Ray Kennedy is in the house. Mr. Zagna, he love having Ray on. We gotta do another Have At It show with Ray Kennedy, Anthony Handy. We did one several months ago, which was really good. I remember most of it. I was drunk that night, but that's okay. That's what Have At It is. Just have at it with anything. Ray Kennedy, I'm sitting here watching you live from the Disney Wilderness Lodge. Oh, thank you, Ray. Appreciate that, man. I love it. I mean, you're at Disney World and you're watching me live? Come on, man. I mean, it means a lot, man. Disney's popular, dude. But you have time to watch me. I appreciate that, man. It means a lot. It really does. This is awesome. Yes, it is. And you're awesome as well, bud. Appreciate it. Watching Ben. Yes. Yes, you are, right? You're watching me go live here. I've been on it for an hour and 11 minutes now. Man. 7 viewers still. This is great. Appreciate it. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I got to get going in a few minutes, but is there any more questions? Anything you want to talk about for a few minutes? I'll be on here about 5 more minutes because I do got to start dinner tonight. Having a pork loin, so I got to get that going. Rick Kennedy says, seriously though, Light just passed McKay for legendary GM status if he hadn't already. Whew. It's close. Close. Boy, right. Keep in mind, Rich McKay was the original. He's the original OG. He drafted Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks. That's put together that team, brought in John Gruden. I know that's not a very popular name with Bucks fans, but got a Super Bowl on it. That's a tall order. And Jason Light, I gotta say, anytime you bring in Tom Brady, the GOAT, it's hard to disagree. Probably 1A and 1B, So, yeah, I say it's neck and neck. So, Zagnif, ooh, pork loin, yes. Yeah, I got it. I got it at Walmart. It is Farmer John's. It was already seasoned up. It's an Applewood smoked bacon one. So I'm going to get that baby cooked in a little bit. Roy Kennedy with these last two contracts. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he definitely put in the work, man. Give Light credit. Scott Taylor, Ray ran out of tickets for the rides and is eating a smoked turkey leg. All right. Well, whatever, man. I'm getting the view, so that's all I care about. Ray Kennedy, damn it, I know, but Light keeps the talent and the mojo, and this team makes it work. Yeah, they do. And again, it's great to sign your own players. That's always a goal for GMs, is to sign your own draft picks. And I know Baker wasn't, but still, that was a big piece that they were able to get together, both sides agreeing on the deal. That's huge. So props to that front office, man. That's not what she said. Zagnif, yeah, I got the question. Why come OBJ still thinks he's a tier number 1 receiver? Man has taken more sick time than a disability scammer. Yeah. I don't know. I will say when he did play last year for the Ravens, he wasn't that bad. He was a pretty good receiver, but yeah, he can't stay healthy. And I always thought Evans was better than OBJ anyway, so same draft class. But the talent was there, but he's just not the same guy. And I don't know what he's going to do now, but we'll see how it plays out with him. Johnny Dean, there he is. Shut up, Ben. Yeah, thank you, Johnny. Appreciate that. I missed that. Come on, Johnny. Light past McKay with these last two. Yeah. It's close. Mance has more time off than a spokesperson for the bug spray. That's good. Yes. I like that. Jagnif, OBJ has more time in videos on social media in the last 2 years than he does on the field now. No, that's true. He has. He's also had injuries. He did have that injury with the Rams towards ACL, which was unfortunate, but man made one big catch and is milking it like a dairy farmer hopped up on 2 pots of coffee. Ooh, coffee. That sounds good right now. Love me my coffee. Love that caffeine. Yep. Now I'm gonna need some caffeine if I'm gonna stay on here, but okay. And let's this. OBJ back to the Rams for $1.99. Be a hell of a deal there, Scott. Is OBJ even worth $1.99 anymore? I don't know. Well, guys, and yep, having a cup of lack myself. There you go. Cup of Joe. Cup of Joe, cup of Ray. Man. $1.99 is too much. Yeah. I know, right? They probably overpay them. I gotta read this from Johnny Dean. Sapp, Lynch, Brooks, Barber, Ray Kennedy. I think Light still has a way to go. Yeah, that's hard. I mean, guys like me and Johnny are old school Bucks fans. It's a lot to live up to, but again, I've been critical of Light before, but I've also praised him, and he's done well, very well. And he did bring in the GOAT, Jason Light, him and Arian, so that does bump him up a few notches. So got to give him credit for that. But yeah, it's subjective, you know. It is what it is. He's on the rollback shelf at Wally World right now for 65 cents. Yeah, Vacation was... I got to watch that movie again, National Lampoon's Vacation. That's a classic. And if there's one 80s movie you should watch, it is National Lampoon's Vacation. Classic movie. One of the best 80 movies ever, in my opinion. So watch it. Yeah. And I love Marty Moose. What can I say? All right. So everybody, I hate to do this because I still got a lot of viewers on, but I got to head out, man. I got stuff I got to do. I originally thought this show was going to be just for like 20, 30 minutes, but this turned into a all afternoon festival, which I do appreciate. Everybody tuning in. Appreciate you guys giving me the love, the likes and everything. So yeah, I'll read a few more and then I'm going to head out. Johnny Dean, I love what he's done, but he has to wait a bit to match Gold Jackets. Fair. That's fair. But I know Evans and Tristan Wirfs will probably get Gold Jackets one day. So Kmart Blue Light Special on running backs. Yeah. Seems like it. All the Vacation movies. Yeah. Yeah, they are very good, Johnny. No leave. Must assimilate. Resistance is futile. Love it. Pork loin can wait. No, I don't know. Pork loin's sounding pretty good right now, Anthony. You know how we love our food, man. LVD, yes. I forgot to include that, Johnny. LVD, yes. That is a future Hall of Famer for sure. And MBB forever. Was that Mountain Brokeback something, Scotty? No, I know what you mean. And Truth, yes, Truth. All right, everybody, I'm gonna head out. Pork loin's calling me right now. It's kind of squealing still. So anyway, thank you so very much for. Oh yeah, I've got chicken thighs marinated in homemade Hassan sauce. Ooh, damn. What time should I come over? Tick tock. Yummy. On the clock. There we go. Alrighty, guys. I am going to get out of here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Appreciate the support. Again, my social media handles are to my right there. On X, BennyBoy702. On YouTube, BenCornet9015. On Facebook, the Benzone. And Instagram, Ben702 forever. You guys keep coming with the comments. Mike, Baker, and Barber, lots of laugh. And Johnny, I like the lines too. I'm sure you do. And read me. And Hush Johnny. All right. Scott, Johnny, you two two old farts are going to fight. Take it to the off the rails chat. So, with that being said, I am out of here. Ben, you have OCD? You got OCD? Yes, I do. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate the love. And I will see you next time right here on the Benzone. I can tell you cannot read the comments, laughing my ass off. Just going to keep me on here, right? Am I going to have to do the ghosting thing? I wish I had that ghosting thing. And I know we used to have that on the NFL edition. And good show, bro. Thank you so much, Zagnif. Appreciate it. All right, everybody. I am officially out of here. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you next time right here on the Benzone. Take care and go Bucks.